Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into the life of a man whose legacy is literally woven into the fabric of modern India, APJ Abdul Kalam. In this explainer, we're going to trace a truly incredible life story, looking at how sheer willpower and just a brilliant scientific mind reshaped an entire nation's future on the global stage.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this isn't just your standard biography, it's a profound blueprint of determination. Notice the dramatic contrast here. We're talking about a trajectory that starts in poverty on a humble fishing boat in Tamil Nadu and reaches all the way to the highest echelons of government, ultimately forging the architecture of a modern nuclear nation. I mean, it's a massive leap. So how exactly did he do it?
Section 1. A humble beginning, early life and education. So, Kalam was born in a town in a Tamil Nadu state, the son of a fishing boat owner. His family had actually been wealthy once, well, before losing their fortune, that is. As the youngest of 5 siblings living in pretty impoverished circumstances, the odds were heavily stacked against him. But here's the core takeaway right off the bat in our explainer. He persevered. He didn't let his circumstances dictate his future. He relentlessly pursued his education, and he ultimately earned a highly coveted degree in aeronautical engineering from the prestigious Madras Institute of Technology.
Section 2. Pioneering space, reaching the stars.
Following his degree, Kalam's ascent through the scientific ranks was just steady and super impressive. In 1958, right out of school, he joins the Defense Research and Development Organization, or DRDO. Just over a decade later, in 1969, he moves over to the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and it's here that he takes on the absolutely monumental role of project director for the SLV-3. Which brings us to a massive milestone in 1980. The SLV-3 successfully launches the Rohini satellite.
So you might be wondering, what exactly was the SLV-3, and how did it work? Well, it was the very first satellite launch vehicle entirely designed and produced right there in India. Technologically speaking, it was a 4-stage solid propellant rocket. Basically, that means it used a solid mixture of fuel and oxidizer to generate massive thrust. When that 1980 launch successfully released the Rohini satellite into near-Earth orbit, it was a complete game-changer. It firmly placed India's space program on the international stage for the very first time. And because of this phenomenal success, Kalam went on to oversee even more advanced launch vehicle technologies at ISRO, including the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle.
Section 3. Missiles and Nuclear, National Defense.
Later on, he returned to the DRDO to plan and lead the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. Now, this initiative produced a number of highly successful missiles, but the real standouts were the Agni, which was India's first intermediate-range ballistic missile, and the Prithvi, a surface-to-surface tactical missile. So the crucial point here is how his work in space seamlessly connected to defense. The Agni missile, first launched in 1989, actually ingeniously incorporated aspects of the very same solid propellant SLV-3 technology that Kalam had developed for the space program.
Throughout the 1990s, he served as scientific advisor to India's defense minister, and later as principal scientific advisor to the government, actually holding the rank of a cabinet minister. He played a massive role in giving India nuclear capabilities. In 1998, as one of the chief coordinators of the Pokhran-I tests in Rajasthan, he oversaw the detonation of 5 nuclear bombs. Looking at the source material objectively, these tests had a profound, dual impact. While they for sure caused great concern in the international community, they also definitively solidified India as a nuclear power and instantly established Kalam as a national hero.
But Kalam was looking far, far beyond just defense. In that exact same year, 1998, he put forward a countrywide plan called Technology Vision 2020. Notice the specific pillars of this plan. He advocated for increasing agricultural productivity, emphasizing technology as a primary vehicle for economic growth, and aggressively widening access to healthcare and education. Just think about how these pillars were perfectly designed as a roadmap to completely transform India from a less developed society into a developed one in just 20 years.
Section 4. The People's President, Highest Office.
By 2002, the time came to succeed outgoing President Kujral Ramanan Narayanan. Now, what's really interesting about this is the immense, unifying appeal Kalam possessed across really fierce political divides. His popular stature was so incredibly strong that he was nominated by the Hindu nationalist National Democratic Alliance, the NDA, despite Kalam himself being Muslim. And it doesn't stop there. His respect was so universal that even the main opposition party, the Indian National Congress, formally proposed his candidacy.
With that kind of unprecedented support, Kalam easily won the vote of the Electoral College, defeating former revolutionary leader Lakshmi Sahgal. He was sworn in as India's 11th president in July 2002. Holding this largely ceremonial post, he quickly became known affectionately as the People's President. He served a full, highly impactful term before leaving office in 2007, where he was succeeded by Pratibha Patil, who made history as the country's first woman president.
Section 5. An enduring legacy, inspiring young minds.
Leaving office definitely didn't mean slowing down. His legacy was built heavily upon education and the written word. He served as a lecturer at multiple universities, a visiting professor at several Indian institutes of management, and the founding chancellor of the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. Alongside his teaching, his written output was just immense, including his 1999 autobiography, Wings of Fire, and his 2002 book, Ignited Minds. For a lifetime of unbelievable contributions, he was awarded 3 of the country's highest honors, the Padma Bhushan in 1981, the Padma Vibhushan in 1990, and the Bharat Ratna in 1997.
He had a truly special ability to connect with children, making it his personal mission to meet, interact with, and inspire young minds. And that leads us to this deeply poignant fact. On July 27, 2015, while doing exactly what he loved most, delivering a lecture at the Indian Institute of Management, Shillong, he collapsed and passed away soon after from a fatal cardiac arrest.
But a legacy of this magnitude? It doesn't just end, it transforms. Through unique posthumous tributes in 2015, Wheeler Island, a missile test site in Odisha state, was officially renamed Abdul Kalam Island. And incredibly, in 2017, a brand new species of bacterium discovered on the International Space Station was actually named Solid-Bacillus kalami in his honor. So from the very soil where his missiles launched, all the way up to the space station orbiting the Earth, his name lives on.
Which leaves us with this final, powerful question to consider today. How does one man's journey, from a small fishing boat in Tamil Nadu to the farthest reaches of space, fundamentally change the trajectory of over 1 billion people? APJ Abdul Kalam proved that with an ignited mind, education, and relentless perseverance, absolute transformation is possible. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.